Hong Kong last week. It's the biggest China event in the last 3 years, pretty much. And we found a huge amount of new information, and we're going to debunk some information as well, because I know you guys have been hearing the China narrative. It was pretty strong last 2 months. Everyone was hyping about it. But it kind of fizzled out because people didn't really understand what's happening in China. There's actually a lot that is happening behind the scenes. And my personal opinion is that the Chinese they're not even like re-entered at all. Like they're just testing the waters, and they just dipped one pinky in so far. So yeah, there's gonna be a huge wave because like the amount of people we saw at that conference was just ridiculous. So we're gonna talk about all that today. Nat, how's everything?
Everything's doing great. I had great rest during the weekend.
Finally,
Happy
right?
Web3 Festival.
It's like the busiest thing, right?
Yeah,
It's crazy. So we also have Natalie. So Natalie's been running the Crypto Squad channel. You've been doing a lot more information. And also you've been really diving headfirst into this whole crypto China scene, right? How was last week? You said it was tiring, right?
It was very tiring. I talked to many people, went to different booths to like not only like I talked to like some of the OKX people, and I also went over to some projects which are originally based in China and talked to not only the founders but talked to their teams about what they think about Hong Kong, what they think about the conference, what they've been doing previously during COVID in China, and like just what they think about China dipping their pinky into crypto.
It's quite a lot. I'll show you guys some scenes from the conference too, but I'll bring that up in 1 second. This is also, I just want to make sure this live stream is happening, so I'm making sure that everything's here. So guys, say hello if you're coming in, joining us on this event. Nat's got everything loaded up here, so thank you, Nat, for loading that. It does seem like we're live, right?
Yep.
And hopefully the audio is problem free. So yeah, welcome. Tell me where you guys are from. We're gonna answer questions today as well, so pop them down on what is happening in what you guys think is happening. But let's start with the conference. I have the start of the conference here, so let me bring that up on Brave. You're gonna love this, Nat. So who is this guy? Who's this this ugly ass? We're allowed to insult him in Hong Kong. I think that's legal. But who's this guy? Pikachu?
Chief Executive.
All right. So John Lee, right? The honorable. John Lee. So he was one who was kind of opening up the conference. I want to bring a little bit here. Let me put on some volume. So
仲要講話指出，要着力提升科技自立自強能力，不斷壯大國家嘅科技實力。國家14.5規劃明確支持，把握好 Web 3.0嘅機遇。特區政府新一份財政預算案公布，撥款5000萬元俾數碼港，加速去推動香港 Web 3.0生態圈嘅發展。
All right, we're all laughing here, but quick summary.
Fell asleep. 10 seconds of him talking.
But okay, so to put things in perspective, so he opened up the Web3 Festival. He's the leader of Hong Kong, but technically speaking, and you can kind of tell even by this talk, he's pretty much a puppet leader, I would say, especially with this event. He called it the Web 3.0 event. Who says Web 3.0? I mean, how much research did he do coming into this? I really don't know, but it's important to remember that everything here you have to take and read between the lines. Right? So from him officiating the event, it means that the government is really pushing. I think that's insane. And also he's also talking about funding Cyberport, so government initiatives to fund Web3 events. But the underlying tone behind this is, and this pretty much everyone kind of knew this already, which is that Beijing is behind this. China is behind this. This isn't just about Hong Kong pushing the Web3 narrative. This is really about Beijing using Hong Kong as pretty much a testbed for crypto and crypto's re-entry into China.
Yep.
So I think that was quite important. And we were saying, like, we were kind of joking in the office here that, he was so poorly prepared for the speech. It's very clear that Beijing told him, rush, get this out, get Web3, get Hong Kong back onto the Web3 map again, right? And I think most people here that came to the conference also understood this too. It was very clear that Hong Kong is going full force into this. Like the leader of Hong Kong, like the chief executive, is literally coming out doing this. So that's how important Hong Kong is. Like he can't fail, right? If he fails, he's gonna like disappoint Beijing, right? This is why he's speaking like this. This is why he's going to every single event. He looks bored. He looks like he's bored shitless, but it's his job. He's got to do his job, right? And this festival itself, right? So Web3 Festival. This festival itself is also quite interesting because it's got basically 10,000 people coming up, and it's got a huge area, and it's got like it was packed full of Chinese people.
Yes.
And like it was expensive for them to come here. So just to clarify everything, we're based in Hong Kong, and the festival was in Hong Kong as well. But a lot of people had to come from mainland China to come to this event, right? So I overheard people basically saying that they were sending 6 people here to the event. They had a booth. So they're literally spending $50K to maybe $75K US dollars because like they have to have hotel. They have to get the booth up. The booth was $25K per booth for the small ones, just for a banner booth. The big ones were $50K to $250K, right? It's expensive. So a lot of Chinese people came here on the projects and stuff. They came here and it was packed. Let me show you guys some footage. I'll just use the box money footage. This is you laughing, but this is day
the
one.
Chinese are coming
right?
and they're hungry.
This is me outside the conference, but this was the top floor. There were still other events there, but when we were walking in, there was actually a line to get our tickets. It was much more packed than I thought it would be, right? And what was kind of interesting was that look at these huge ones. These are probably like 250K for a booth. They needed it was very clear that these companies wanted to stand out. And it was very clear that they wanted not just to win over Hong Kong, because there's not that many Hong Kong people in the conference.
There are barely any.
They're barely any. They're trying to win over most of China and trying to impress their folks back at China, right? So that was actually super, super interesting for me. And the fact that people were talking, and this guy was quite interesting too, if you guys watched this video, but he was kind of saying, they feel much more free here. They can say anything here because they're in Hong Kong. They're not in China yet. And
actually, that's okay. So I talked to one of the projects, one of the girls working for one of the projects, and I asked her about the China narrative, asking her if she thinks that Hong Kong is the testing bed for China.
Right.
So after interviewing her, she talked she didn't really talk much. She was just And after the interview, after we stopped the camera, she told me if I could edit out that part of the video because she felt like she didn't compliment China enough, I guess, and she wanted me to remove it completely. So I was like, oh, okay.
That was a great section, though. That was a great section, though. But that's kind of interesting because we're kind of in that time, and it's very, very interesting as well because I actually got a lot of comments from the videos, and people were like, oh, you're in China all this time, what were you doing? Or why is there such a big discrepancy between the Asian markets and the mainland Chinese markets, right? And I think a lot of people didn't realize that mainland China after they banned crypto, became very, very sensitive to talk about it, right? So unless you meet people in person and read between the lines, it's almost impossible to get real information about what's happening in China, and which is why this event was so important, because this event, yet again, it's meeting people up in real person, letting people speak between the lines, and it was also in Hong Kong. So now because it was opened by the chief executive of Hong Kong, people start realizing it's okay to talk because of just how many government officials are here. It made people feel safer to talk about what's happening in crypto. And it gives them this sense that, oh yes, the tides have changed right? And
Yeah.
it's okay to come out now, which is why yet again there's so many people at this event. I was surprised. There's so many. Like, just imagine how much money was like spent by people coming to this event. It's ridiculous, actually. Yeah, if you think about it, 10,000 people, right? If they
And the
spend,
tickets were like 2K HKD.
they're expensive,
3K?
right? If you're spending $10,000 each, let's say 10,000 people, 10,000 times 10,000 for just, I guess, Hong Kong dollars. Let's say it's 1,000 US dollars they're spending, right? Right. How much is that? That's $10 million just spent on this conference.
Wow. Wow.
Is that right? Does that math make sense? Yeah, that's crazy. That's a lot of money. So think about it. And this was like mostly industry professionals, right? So there was a lot of projects, a lot of government people. I think I made a joke about that went viral, which is like
A photo?
that photo, which is and this is right before the event, right? So let me show you the photo, guys. So let me pop this up. Oh, this one. Hong Kong Web3 Festival.
I've never seen anyone in crypto wear suits.
No. So mine was like recent photo of Web3 Institute in Hong Kong, Web3 3.0, more like Web 0.3.
Going backwards.
Oh man, this is not the traditional crypto. But it's all Hong Kong government officials, right? So from different departments, we have Li Ka-chiu here again. And it's quite important to realize that this important, while it's not important for us in crypto, it's very important for people in the banking industry, in every single professional industry. It was kind of funny. So after this photo was released, Web 0.3, my banker called me immediately. He was like, "Yo, we should do more together." He's like, yeah. It's like it's suddenly legit now because like, you know, back in the day, crypto people were like hush hush. You know, like you go to a bank, you're like, this is you know, I do crypto, that's my main industry, and normally that's like they're like, shh, just don't talk about it. It's okay. But now they're like, oh, crypto web 3.0. What? You're there? And he like immediately messaged me and it's like, and he was confused as hell too, right? So this is from one of the big banks in Hong Kong. I'm not gonna name the banks. I don't want to dox the people, but it's one top tier banks, right? So if you think about it, the top tier banks, you got like Standard Chartered, HSBC, Citibank. You got all these big banks in Hong Kong, and they're like super interested in what's happening in crypto because all these government guys are there, and they're like, okay, we have to enter. And on top of that as well, they're also confused because the same banker was messaging me, and he's like, why is Hong Kong doing this? Because like, you know, last I checked, China, because everyone's understanding that's not just Hong Kong doing this. This is Beijing doing this. This is mainland China doing this, right? So they're all confused. They're like, you know, Bitcoin is very anti-establishment.
Okay.
It's very decentralization. You know, that they're preaching decentralization. They're preaching individuality. They're preaching, you know, they're almost anti-government. Why is Beijing supporting Bitcoin? And I think it's also a situation where China realizes that in order to be relevant in the future of finance, they have to go head first, which is why yet again Hong Kong is being used, right? They're not doing this in Beijing, Shanghai yet, right? They're not doing the big mainland Chinese cities because of one country, two systems. They're allowed to do this in Hong Kong, and if it doesn't go well, oh yeah, it's that different system. You know, those guys. It was not our idea. It's Zhang Li, right? John, look at him. Like he opened a conference, right? It was his idea. So it gives him an opportunity to save face there as well for what's happening in China. So I think that's kind of interesting perspective for what's really happening. So. Definitely a huge amount. Definitely a huge turnout. Definitely. Any other thoughts, impressions? I'll read the comments whilst I'm here as well.
I saw CZ at like one of the. Well, he was a keynote speaker, right? And I know you went to the Binance boat.
Yes.
How was it?
Okay, so everyone was here. So CZ was Binance wanted to have an impression. OKX, all the big exchanges wanted. Like Justin Sun was here. So So they had a lot of side events, which was Binance event was actually pretty good. I actually want to say I guess I should show some photos or something at the event, but so Binance had a boat party for people, and I was invited. So thank you for the invite, Binance. Me and Nate went, so
Just chilling.
we're just chilling on a boat. But in reality, it was actually a boat full of Binance kind of supporters and VIPs, and you realize that there's so many VIPs. So they weren't really shilling anything in this event. I actually really liked the event because they weren't really shilling much. They just got this boat out and then got people to socialize with each other, and it was packed with Chinese KOLs. So I think that was kind of interesting. So the Chinese KOLs were very, very direct about like what sort of volumes they push to the exchange. And yet again, you'll never hear anything like this officially, right? Because yet again, exchanges taking on Chinese people is a little bit taboo. No one's gonna be sensitive, but they've been talking about how much volume they deliver to Binance. They're talking about what sort of coins, like they're talking about pumping coins. All right, let's be honest. All right, so yet again, I'm not naming names. I'm not putting people, so I think it's okay to say that. But they're talking about them pushing volume to coins, right? Essentially pumping certain coins on Binance. So there are people very specialized on Binance only coins, which I found very, very interesting. Like they were like, okay, we push this volume and we'll only touch Binance coins, right? Because of just the insane amounts of volume there, they won't touch anything else. And Binance was very like, I feel like people who are in Binance are very loyal. Like there's a lot of Binance angels as well, and they're like hardcore Binance people. So I feel like that's partially of the reason why they're successful. Right, like Binance is successful because they have all these loyalists.
Okay.
I think that was kind of interesting. But I added a hell ton of a lot of Chinese influencers and groups because I know you guys really wanted to give us get some insight into what's happening in China. So so we're gonna do so much more. But it's very interesting because you see that from the angle of the people creating the content, and it goes to show how like. And for this whole event too, right? This whole event, the Web3 Festival, they were people that were in the industry, right? So they're industry professionals, right? So there's no 韭菜, like there's no retail. There's no retail, right? We'll talk about 韭菜in a sec, but there's no retail. So if there's like 10,000 people just spontaneously showing up, like imagine how much retail there is in China, right? This whole party hasn't even started. I think that's the insane part. And I think that's the part that people don't realize. I think people when I saw a lot of YouTube content being created about China, and which is why this video is called China Debunked anyways, is because people thought that China was going to come in like immediately, right? I don't think that's the case. This conference was all industry professionals, so it was them setting up and preparing the foundation for the next 6 months to 1 year. They know that the big wave is coming, so that's why they're all here. That's why they're spending money. That's why everyone's trying to give face to these events, right? They have to like get their branding right. This is the one of the guys setting up the Binance event, and it was kind of funny. Like they were. I think someone told him, "Oh, there's not enough Binance presidents here," so he has to like put these glow Binance things on the boat. But this is exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to make sure that they're relevant before the Chinese retail really comes in. So I still estimate maybe 3-6 months before China really starts heating up. I feel like everyone is really just planting the seeds right now. They're all trying to figure out what is happening, and it's gonna be quite insane once China does spin up. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by the number of people at the event.
Do people in China treat CZ as like a god as well, or?
So this is the funny part, right? They don't. So during this event, it wasn't CZ that showed up to this event. It was actually He Yi. So He Yi is.
Oh, I didn't know He Yi is in Hong Kong.
She was not in Hong Kong.
Oh, okay.
She showed up virtually.
Oh shit.
Yes. So read between the lines here.
Okay.
Binance, both Binance founders or co-founders showed up virtually, and He Yi showed up on a big screen. So she was televised on a big screen, and
Was it live?
it was live, and people asked questions. It was great.
Okay.
So it's clear that she wanted to be there, right? It's clear that she wanted to have her presence there, but it's just like yet again, read between the lines of why she's not there. But He Yi is like So in China, it's completely different. They don't care about CZ at all. They care about He Yi. And it's like it's Yijie to them. So it's like Sister Yi, right? Like it's like they're trying to make it like a family. Like it's Sun Ge.
Yeah.
Who's
Yeah.
Sun Ge?
Justin.
Yeah, so Sun Ge is Justin, right?
Yeah.
And then Yijie is He Yi. So they all came, right? So on the boat party, Justin's son came, He Yi came, Da Hongfei came. So there's a lot of the Chinese gathering guys came, and so this was a globe night. That was the event. So here's some better footage of it. Yeah, but she showed up on screen.
Wow.
All right, so if people ask her questions, and yeah, she has so much sway in China. It's ridiculous. So people really, and they were asked about this too, like why the Chinese marketing isn't as strong and why CZ wasn't doing the Chinese marketing. It's because like they still want to keep a little bit low key to figure out to test the waters a bit first, right? So for them, it's also a little bit about testing the waters about Chinese marketing, about everything here. But it was kind of interesting to people ask questions. So people were really into it, and then Justin's son who came here to show face, but he came in person, which is quite interesting too. So it was very, very interesting. And Justin was showing his own exchange, Huobi.
Yeah.
But Binance allowed it. So you can see that there's still a lot of synergy between these big
Yeah.
exchanges. I find that it's like Justin is very, very close to Binance. Very, very close. Sun Ge is, people really respect and care about these guys. So it's quite interesting. So also it's a good opportunity for us to talk about something we're gonna do on Crypto Squad. So I'm helping with Crypto Squad, Natalie, what Natalie is doing, and some segment that we thought would be super interesting. Not this one. This one is that we're gonna do some features about main key players in China. So this is gonna be Natalie's research for the next few days. I'll put it on chat, but guys, check it out, the Crypto Squad channel. But actually, can you put it up on your one? It's just a little bit easier. But we're gonna do a little bit more about the Chinese key figures, because something I realized here is that a lot of the key figures that are in China, they don't get any exposure in the West, and that's a shame, right? It's such a big community. Like we're saying, like one of the bigger speakers here was Xiaofeng. Xiaofeng was opening pretty much every single ceremony. This guy, Dr. Xiaofeng, of Wanshang Blockchain and Hashkey Group. And a lot of people don't know who he is, but he's one of the original people that showed Vitalik. He was one of the people who took Vitalik around the entirety of China, and got the Chinese to invest very big into Ethereum. And he's one of the guys who's rumored to have more than 1 million plus Ethereum, not just Ethereum, millions of dollars in Ethereum, but millions of Ethereum. So it's kind of ridiculous. Is that posted to the Crypto Squad one or Crypto the Box Mining one? Yeah. So check out the link, guys. But it's like, so these guys are OG Chinese crypto people, and a lot of people don't realize that Chinese Ethereum is a Chinese coin. Like, cause like I think a lot of you guys you were asking me on this channel, what is the Ethereum of China? Like, guys, don't you realize that Ethereum is the OG Chinese coin? It's like, but like Vitalik was one of the chief scientists of Wanshang before he started to see like this team. Like Vitalik is part of Fambushi. He's an advisor, and his role got like downplayed after Vitalik has to really push Ethereum. But early on, he was a chief scientist, right? He was a guy who was part of this team. So it's actually quite important to remember that Ethereum is a Chinese coin. They were the ones that were pushing Vitalik, right? There's still Russians and West, but the Chinese were one of the first ones to really buy heavy into Ethereum, and Xiaofeng literally basically took Vitalik around to all the big funds in China for him to talk about the project, and he was like eating hot pot with a lot of the Fambushi guys. Right? He was like the one that was pushing everything in China. So there was a huge Chinese presence. So guys, to debunk, is there another Chinese Ethereum? Like Ethereum is Chinese. Right? You guys don't realize Ethereum's the OG Chinese coin. So yeah, the Ethereum of China is Ethereum. Right, but there are other ones that people are going to try to use, but Ethereum is Chinese. So I think a lot of people don't realize that because because Consensus does such a good job. But yeah, like Vitalik is the more like he's Chinese, bro. He can speak Chinese for a reason, right? So yet again, quite interesting. So we're gonna do Crypto Squad. You're gonna introduce a lot of people. You can introduce Vitalik. He's Chinese.
Okay.
We'll talk about Dr. Xiaofeng,
Yes.
some boy, and some of the notorious people in China too, like Li Xiaolai, OG Bitcoin investors. And if you think about it too, there's actually a huge Bitcoin community in China too. Like a lot of Bitcoin OGs there too, because they were the ones that believed in the Bitcoin vision very early on. So there's a lot of eccentric Bitcoin people there too. Anyways, I think that's gonna be quite fun and interesting to talk about. But anyways, all right, so we have that. What other interesting findings do you have? We got James Vitalik is a puppet goof. Aw, you guys are so savage. Savage guys, savage. Let's answer some questions. You want to? How about this? Why don't we talk a little bit and then you answer some questions and answers about what's happening, and we'll see some questions from the community as well. CFX is huge in China as well. Suits. P2E says suits equals to money is coming. Hell yeah, man. It's there's gonna be a lot of money coming in. Like for reals. Like this is not, it's not even started, guys. It's not even started at all. All right, guys. Also, if you guys want to ask any questions about the stream, about everything that's happening, do shoot me up here. It'll be fun. Play some footage from this conference. It's like the people as well is so interesting. It just, yeah, you gotta pick up your Mandarin.
My initial impression towards the conference is so different. Like day 1 and day 3 impression
Really?
is so different.
Really? How come?
Because originally I thought it was more people were just coming in, like Chinese people were just coming in thinking, oh, like what's Web3? Let me check this conference out, you know. But then I realized that a lot of them are crypto natives. They're already like they're very knowledgeable in crypto, and yeah.
And they try millions of volume on the line.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do agree. Like there's quite a few OGs. I think it's a combination. I think the ratio. What would you say the ratio between OGs and new hires are?
90-10.
90 OG.
Yeah, 90 OG.
90 OG.
I think they already have like a community between them. I remember we were sitting on a side stage and we already saw like different groups of people
Yes.
talking amongst
Yes, that's true.
themselves.
That's true.
And I feel like they already know each other. And I talked to one of the guys and they were like, I was like, oh, do you guys do meetups in China? And he was like, barely, but then he saw a lot of 老朋友 in this Hong Kong conference.
So I partially. So a lot of people in this conference, because this is not the first Web3 festival, right? So this is they had other events in China, and before this event was held in like Shanghai International Blockchain Week, right? That's 2018, right? So if you look at it, there wasn't too much being done for this period of time, because like during COVID and stuff, these conferences were much more quiet. So that's why they're kind of featuring like Shanghai 2018, okay, 2019 Shanghai, and then they kind of moved all this into Hong Kong. So it's a lot of old friends that met in 2018, right? And so if you look at the map here, right? So they were saying that people are coming from, there was Beijing, Shanghai is huge. So Shanghai is the blockchain community is super huge there. So Shanghai, Hangzhou, right? So the Shanghai, Hangzhou people are coming over. We got the Beijing, a few of the Beijing people are coming over, but people are coming from here all the way down to here to have this conference now, right? Because in China it's quite taboo, and it's very likely, and people are guessing that Wangshan Labs, the co-organizers, like so it's Wangshan and Hashkey, they had their Beijing's approval, pretty much, like the leadership approval from the government in China to host this event in Hong Kong. And I think it wasn't just an approval, almost. I wouldn't even use that word. I would use that Beijing pushed them to have this here.
Okay.
I think so. If you look at all the events around and the number of people, I would say like they wanted to make this big,
Okay.
right? They didn't. If this was small and weak, I think, Beijing wouldn't be impressed.
Yeah.
So I think they wanted to make an impression. That's why it was so big. That's why we were all like surprised at how big and
Yeah.
massive this event was, right? Especially like, you're gonna pack this with all Chinese people that had to travel to Hong Kong, right? Normally, if you have a foreign conference, you're only gonna have maybe 1,000 some people
Yeah.
who are rich enough to travel to your foreign event. But this was like giving face, right? This was major giving face to people there. So I found that was kind of interesting. Like you just saw a lot of people there, a lot of people talking. I do say there's probably more than, I don't want to say it's like 90% OGs. I would say it's like just 20%, I think, new, probably 30% new hires.
Okay.
All right. So I would say that there were people who were recently hired to build out companies and systems
Okay.
for the next wave, right? Because if you think about it, OGs are all just like, yeah, they just see what the situation is like, and then they order their subordinates to do stuff, right? Because they're already like relaxing and piecing out already, right? So the OGs, they're there, but I think I do see some new people and just like new in the industry, and they're getting the first round of experience inside this industry. So that's why yet again I was super surprised that people were talking to other people in booths, right? Like usually in conferences, especially during the bear market, everyone knows each other.
Yeah.
Right? It was the same thing for WoW Summit, right? WoW Summit, and we were talking to hacking guys, and they're saying, the WoW Summit just wasn't here. There's like, tons of people going up to booths and asking questions and stuff. So it was a very, very, I would say there's actually enough new people as well, like to say, the booths are getting full.
Yeah.
And people are very, very interested into what's happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very interesting. I find that this is something that we need to really step up our effort into, both bridging, letting you guys know what's happening in China, and then also creating more content around this, because I think this is where the next big wave is. Like, these guys are ready to spend, right? I definitely feel like they're ready to spend, and they're waiting for an even bigger wave that I think it's pretty much unimaginable how big that wave is for you guys. Because if you think about it, retail in China has been starved for a long time, a long, long time, and they want to get it. So amazing. Do you want to bring Ron in? I think Ron was his first conference for him, so we'll bring Ron in and we'll wrap up the live stream.
Okay.
But yeah, guys, it was a good conference. It was very, very good. It was very interesting. Let's see some questions. Let's see. Gaming Guru says, when you know box mining and streaming again, the next super cycle is starting. DeFi 3.0, what's the next narrative? Really, really good question, actually, as well. Are you bullish on CoinFlex? I'm bullish on so many things, especially like when China's coming in. There's going to be a huge talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think a lot of people aren't realizing this, but a lot of the Chinese influencers, they also have the .eth sign. So like there's I'm gonna have a bunch of like Chinese Twitter influencers, and we're gonna do a summary of that. But there's a lot of people who are .eth on crypto in China because like they're ETH supporters, right? So Ron, okay, welcome Ron.
What's up?
So Ron's been doing airdrops, and he's also been part of the Crypto Squad and doing a lot of content for this channel as well. He's been researching for the past few years. So welcome Ron, welcome to the channel.
Hello. How's it going?
How's it going? So this was your first event, right? This was your first.
Yeah.
So we brought you to the crypto event.
Yeah.
How do you find it?
I really want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to go, because I went on day 3 on Friday. You guys have been there since day 1. And I was like, I'm missing out. Because, I've been doing research here in the office, shooting for Crypto Squad.
It's also $2,000 a ticket.
Yeah, no, it's 5,000. I saw.
Late bird, right? Late
Crazy,
bird.
yeah.
Yep.
And then I went, and it's like, because it's my first, because I got into crypto since I got into crypto in COVID, so there was never really any live events to attend. So this is the first event that I've gone to since COVID, and it's so much like it's a lot to take in. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like you have to go to this event, even if you don't produce content. You have to go and see what's happening, right?
Exactly.
There's so many people.
Yeah.
And you kind of, I guess it's also important because when you started, it was during COVID, and you didn't see real people, right? So you only saw virtual people and avatars, right? So now it's like seeing real people for once. What do you think? Did they smell?
Yeah, you guys warned me about the smell. I didn't really smell anything until when we got in the lift. But you know, at the event, it was, you know, smell.
Because there's so many people packed in the space, right? So it was hot in Hong Kong. So many people packed in there. It's a conference, right? So it's one of the things you don't see, right? You see. You know, if you if you see all this footage of all these events and stuff, right? You feel like, it's gonna be nice and beautiful, but like the Wi-Fi was shit, the internet was probably pretty bad, people probably smelled, there was no water, they were charging like ridiculous prices for water. It's probably another side of crypto you'll never see. All right, so let's ask some questions and answers. I see some really good questions being asked here, and I think there's a intrinsic confusion here. So totally confused, says Nathan. Is crypto banned in China or no? How do you answer that?
It's like yes and no. I think their official stance is still
banned.
Banned.
The official stance is banned.
Yes.
But they're letting Hong Kong be a test bed. So Hong Kong is China, but it's one country, two systems. And Hong Kong has a different legal system. It has a different financial system. So they're allowing Hong Kong to trade crypto. And they're doing it in waves too. So the first wave is they're going to allow the institutional investors to come in first. This is why there's suits and stuff. And then they're thinking about retail. So this is so the answer, if you want a direct answer, is no. China is still banned in crypto. Like crypto is not allowed in China. But this is the winds are changing. This is the tides are changing moment where they're allowed. They're thinking about allowing it, which is why the officials are saying, well, let's establish these, rails. There's a bunch of words there. How was your interaction with projects? So you ended up actually talking to people and interviewing people during this event. What did you think?
When I went there, I expected a lot of talks about DeFi, specifically on like how to make money. But then almost all of them were focusing on infrastructure rather than applications. Like you can tell that they're trying to build something solid here. For people, for projects to build on. Like they're really focusing on composability. The first interview that I've done was with Anton Paizov, the head of integrations from Aurora, which is on Near Protocol. And I'm not really good at smart contract coding, so I asked him, because intuitively I think, okay, you code smart contracts, so you must be really good at DeFi.
Right.
And I said, you must be hella rich in DeFi. And he's like, no.
Correct.
I don't do DeFi. I only focus on building infrastructure. And then I was like, oh really? And
hardcore builders, hardcore builders.
They just focus on tech. That's it. Like it's like you know how to code smart contracts, but they don't really care about DeFi. And then the same thing with other booths. I go to the other booths, and the first
do you think they're very knowledgeable about crypto?
Who?
The booths, the people you spoke to.
You can tell that some of them are not because when we asked to do the interview, they're like, oh, our guy is not here. It's like because they're their marketing, and we wanted to talk a little bit more about tech, just a little bit, and then they're like, oh, our guy's not here.
You saw fear in their eyes.
But you can tell that some people are very knowledgeable about crypto, and those are I
think that's in between. I think a lot of you guys don't realize that. It takes so much effort to run these events, so they have to send 4 or 5 people to man the booths, right? So some of them are just business dev people, right? So it's very clear that some of them are just there for biz dev. They're not booth babes yet, so this one wasn't stacked full of booth babes because like there are other Chinese crypto events that are like just pure booth babes, and they'll know nothing. They won't even know what the project is. Like you tell them to close their eyes, they're like, oh, what project are you promoting?
Yeah.
And they wouldn't know.
Booth babes?
Yeah.
Is that what I'm thinking about?
So, but this one is like they're BD people, right? So they're not the engineers or what.
BD, marketing leads.
Leads. So you actually realize that there's actually a huge community, and they want to reach out. It's actually quite interesting because they spoke English to you, right?
Yeah.
So Ron is he's part of our Asian team, but you don't speak Chinese, right?
I speak Cantonese.
Cantonese.
Not
Right,
Mandarin.
not Mandarin.
Not Mandarin.
So something you realize is that all the booths are in English,
Yeah.
even though this is a Chinese conference.
Yes.
It's so interesting. I found that like quite interesting. Like there were talks obviously in Chinese, but there was a lot of English, and it's very clear that they want to reach out to the West.
Yeah. Of course.
Right. They it's very clear that they want to branch out, reach out to the West, and it's clear that they have so much like power and money in China. It's kind of crazy. Okay, Elijah Killen says, what kind of FUD on BTC narrative do they use in China? I'm guessing it's not green doesn't work as well. That's actually a very interesting question, actually. Because the Chinese don't seem to FUD up Bitcoin as much. Not as
No,
much.
but they do, in fact, have a lot of Bitcoin mining operations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So mining FUD is not real. Like this, the environment. And Chinese people don't care about the environment. Let's be honest here. Like it's not like the West, right? Like let's be very direct and honest as we're debunking things. Chinese don't care.
Yeah.
All right? Like Chinese they don't care about politeness.
Hell no.
Right? Like politically correctness.
Yeah.
Politeness.
Yeah.
Like that's not a Chinese thing. It's not. Like it's all about making money ASAP, right?
Yes.
It's like are you gonna make me rich? If yes, let's talk. If no, like get out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then there are many situations where we see when we're filming, right? So this is my pet peeve, right? So let's say the camera is right here. So like think about it. This is just it's probably less than a meter distance
Yeah.
away from me. And people would try to walk between us.
Yeah, when I was it's so annoying. I'm like, and then I would joke with them just to get them comfortable. Like, it's okay, it's cool, like that. Then they don't care. They're like, they just go.
And the worst part is like there's actually plenty of space. Like so behind the camera, it's like completely open.
Yeah.
Right? They could have sidestepped. Like it will be one step to sidestep the camera and a walk past.
Yeah.
But they would be like,
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
Money. I see money right there. Let's go. Straight line.
Some are even worse. They look at the camera and they deliberately go back.
Who are you? Who are you? This is nobody. Are you Justin's son? Nah. It's hilarious. It's actually hilarious.
Yeah.
So
very fast paced, Chinese culture.
It's Chinese culture. It's very fast paced. They don't care about political correctness. They don't care about the environment. They don't care about anything.
Yeah, just money.
Just money.
Just money.
Just money. Yeah. I think that's very interesting. Yeah. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna answer a few more questions and answers. We're gonna do some follow-up videos, and Ron's gonna also do a little bit more in China as well, in Asia. I think that's gonna be quite fun. But what are you working on mostly, Ron, right now? Since the channel, you're quite new to the channel, and we'll feature the Crypto Squad a little bit more.
It's still airdrops and project spotlights. So I'm really looking at projects that have good tech, and then plus if they have their token, and then if they're doing an airdrop. And my niche will always be airdrop, I feel like, because I think that's a good way to get into DeFi.
Did a lot of people talk to you about DeFi?
And the festival? Yeah, like actually it's very educational and informative. It's like when I do the interview, it's like a conversation, right? But then most of them, they're just telling you about not just the product, but then what they think about DeFi and what will it be in the next 5 years or 10 years, especially with China and Hong Kong coming in. What is it going to be for DeFi projects? And it's all the same thing really. They want composability, something that you don't get in Web2 tech. And some of them were from like Web2 engineering. And
did you get a situation where like they're like, oh, we love decentralization. freedom of flow of money, and then they'll suddenly backtrack and say, okay, this is not the right place to talk about it. Did you get these situations?
No, not really. No. Why? You get those?
I got those. They're like, yeah, it's all about freedom, this, and then, oh wait, Hong Kong, we're still in Hong Kong. Hong Kong wants to KYC off the crypto. So they'll backtrack a little bit when they talk about crypto. So about DeFi.
Oh yeah.
But you feel like what I felt with the DeFi people is that the DeFi people are really into DeFi.
Yeah.
Like they it's almost like a cult level. Like they'll dedicate their entire lives to DeFi. I found that was kind of interesting. So yeah, so basically the DeFi people were the most knowledgeable people you saw.
Yeah.
And you definitely do you think that there's going to be a narrative? So guys, you actually asked earlier, what's the next narrative of China? Do you think China will do a DeFi narrative?
I think they'll focus on crypto exchanges first, right? Because that's where the big money is coming in. DeFi is still relatively new compared to other centralized entities like crypto exchanges. I'd say maybe 2 to 3 years earliest, then they'll talk about DeFi. But yeah, it'll be about crypto exchanges first.
Yeah, I think that's also true. Like crypto exchanges are the bread and butter. And I think to think about it, the biggest exchanges right now are all Chinese, right? China is like the breeding ground for crypto exchanges. What Binance, Huobi, OK, BitGet, MEXC. They're all Chinese, bro. They're all Chinese. Like Kraken just fell off the planet, right?
Yeah.
Like the Chinese are so good at these trading exchanges and everything. It's so I think that makes sense. So having another crypto exchange pop up, they want to invest in that because they saw how profitable Binance was, right? If you got Binance under $1, if you got BNB under $1, then you're like.
Yeah, Binance may be number one, but if you combine all of the crypto exchanges in China, their total volume is number one.
Yes, like KuCoin also Chinese, right?
Yeah.
Bybit Chinese, Huobi Chinese.
Wait, Bybit is Chinese?
Bybit's kind of Chinese, yeah. They're Chinese like tech, but then they market it overseas, right? The overseas marketing is like, it's super good, and their tech is super good right now. But for sure, you have to cater to the Chinese. Also, this episode is sponsored by Bybit.
Yes.
Also, I forgot to say this earlier. So basically, full disclosure, we're helping with Bybit for a few things, or sponsor a few things. Obviously, I get to keep my personal opinion. That's always the super most important thing to me. And a lot of times, why we chose Bybit as a sponsor was because they're actually stepping up their game like very heavily as an exchange. Their features are like legit.
Yeah. I'm playing with derivatives. Futures.
Oh yeah.
Per future.
Yeah. So they stepped up a lot. Like Bybit, they gotten like so much better over the past few years. And because when I first used Bybit, right, and I'll be honest about Bybit and my opinions on it. So on this channel, I was always a little bit cautious talking about anything that involves derivatives because it's very easy to degen. Yeah. But as you get more and more into crypto, you realize that you need to have these tools. So say, for example, during the USDT, USDC time, the crash, like I had to protect my positions on USDC. And then also I had a hunch that USDC will go up. So I also heavily leveraged, not 100x, it was actually 30x, but heavily leveraged and to prove that few certain points actually work. So it became super powerful for me, and which was a changing moment for me, is to say, okay, look, guys, I'm comfortable talking about Bybit. So if you guys are interested in Bybit, they have a limited time offer. So if you deposit $100, they'll give you $50 for free on Bybit right now. So if use the link down below, it does help. It does. You also get commission. So full disclosure, we did get commission, but that's commissions being used to grow my team here. We're helping directly with Ron, with the Crypto Squad, and to kind of expand that information gap that we have. So it actually directly helps with everything on this channel. So if you guys are interested in trading, check out Bybit. Super powerful. So you've been using it.
Yes.
And it's powerful, right?
It is.
And all the tools, it's just clean now. I think it's like it's an opportunity for us to say, look, it's clean, it's usable, it's and also it's like probably one of the only exchanges that we can use in Hong Kong now. It's like Bybit doesn't do derivatives for us, FTX is gone, so it's pretty powerful there. Okay, so I hope that answers the question about what's happening in China and what everyone's talking about. All right. So Mexi says, which coins will HK be allowed to buy first? So all the big ones, pretty much. It's very like
Yeah.
So think about it this way. We're still super early on what on Hong Kong, to be honest, right? We're super early still. So it's not gonna be. I think a lot of people are expecting major pump. Altcoins aren't gonna be touched for the next 6 months, at least in the government approved narrative. Obviously there will be degens, and I think the degens will move a little bit earlier before everyone else. But the official ones will be like Ethereum, Bitcoin, and not the small ones. So I think it's quite important to remember that it's going to be very heavily centric on the big ones. Yeah. So unfortunately, but once they get in, but you know this, right? Once people get into Bitcoin, Ethereum, they go straight into to altcoins. Yeah, they go straight into the alts. Alex Tricky is Bybit imminent compulsory KYC? I don't think so. You have to ask them officially. But for us, I do KYC. I did KYC my account. But it was pretty, they don't dox you on like Coinbase. Like Coinbase is probably the worst right now. It's like the moment you go on Coinbase, it's like if you're American, like some of my friends are American, it's like immediately you get letters from the tax command.
Yep. For Nate.
For Nate. Shh.
Oh, sorry.
All right. So okay. So I think that's about it. It's also quite funny. Alleged Killian was talking about not green. Initially, when I saw the not green, it's I was almost thinking about how Chinese cryptocurrency exchanges, green is up and red is down. Oh, sorry, no. Green is down, red is up.
What?
Yeah. You didn't know that's about China?
No.
So on all Chinese exchanges, if you go to the Chinese colors, they will have the reverse colors.
What?
Yeah. It's super interesting. So because in China, red is good luck, right? So yeah, so red is good luck.
Okay.
And then green is bad luck, right? So green is like luck, right? So if you want good luck, then you gotta have red. So it's also the same for stock markets too. Not sure if you know that, but like on stock markets, in Chinese stock markets, they'll love a page of green. No, sorry, they'll love a page of red. Sorry. I'm getting confused. I'm confusing it. Yeah, sorry. They'll love a page of red. Like red is fa cai, right? And then they'll hate a page of green. So it's completely different from us. I'm actually curious if this can if I can change the oh, interesting. Oh, interesting. No, I'm just figuring this out because yeah, I was trying to see which exchanges will show the Chinese colors, but I'll do that next time. But like being aware of Chinese colors is going to be interesting. Anyways, I think that wraps up for today's. Do you want to talk about what you're doing on Crypto Squad, like final show for getting you to show what are you working on? Let's see.
Just airdrops. The recent soy airdrop, they said that there will be no airdrop. It's just community access program. It's kind of sad because they did say on their main page before that there will be 22% for the community and early.
Oh no! Okay, look, this is how airdrops work, bro. Here's how airdrop works. Airdrops, they tell you there's no airdrop, there's no airdrop,
Exactly.
And okay, there's airdrops coming right now.
Yeah.
So that's so don't get phased out by that. That's to discourage the non-believers.
No, but that one they confirmed like no airdrop, just community access program. It's basically just a public sale.
No, trust me.
Wait
Trust
till you
me.
believe.
Trust me, bro.
Okay.
Bro. They say there's no airdrop, but then it's like that's what Arbitrum has been saying for ages.
Yeah.
They know that they have to engage the community. There's no other way.
Yeah.
So yeah, getting using it is very, very important. No, don't believe that. Don't believe that. That's like
it's still free anyway. Interacting.
Exactly. So yeah, check out the Crypto Squad. We're pushing that. We're growing that. It's still very early on. I think we definitely need some feedback as well as to what content you guys like, and we want to tailor this content to what you guys like as well. So yeah, make sure you leave a comment there. That'll be super cool. Yeah, and it'd be super nice. Rush Crypto says, when is the box mining conference? We actually had a box mining event. Did you go, Ron?
No, I didn't go that.
Ah, damn, you should have gone.
The one on Thursday, right?
The one on
Central.
Thursday. So it was packed, guys. So this is it's not a conference per se, but this is we co-hosted an event. So Hacken was there. Look, it was packed. It was like that night was like a very, very fancy fun night. So we're gonna do more events. I'll tell you guys what's happening if you guys are interested in checking out events and seeing what was good. This event was like way beyond my expectations. I thought maybe like 200 people came out, but like I think it's more than 600 people came. It's just like in and out, right? Some people came in, some people were out, and people were standing outside. It was freaking amazing. So next time I'll make sure you come. It's worth it. It's worth coming. Hacken did super well. Is what they co-sponsor. Hacken, Magnus Capital, and JKL Capital. They co-sponsor the event, and as well as Ozaru, which is the incubator that I'm helping with. So yeah, so it was very, very pleasant turnout. It was very fun, and it was just packed. Like just so many people there. It was crazy. It was nuts. Nat was there. But yeah, it was a great time. So I hope to share more information and intel with you guys in the future. Things are spinning up. And I know that I'm inconsistent with these live streams, but we'll try to do one around this time every week. But hopefully, we'll see if this is good for everyone. This is a little bit of a dead hour, but we'll see. We'll see when we can actually do a good one. So. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching.
Thank you, Michael. Ron. Thank you, guys.
We'll see you soon. And also, just check out the Crypto Squad. I'll put the link there. And then also, of course, if you guys want the $53 from Bybit and to use it, it's actually a good time to sign up. Like I know I'm usually not so shilly, but if you guys actually want to sign up now, it's actually a pretty good time because once things get nasty, it will get bad. So that's something that you probably don't want happen when things get very crowded. It'll get insane. Yeah. So when the bull market comes, registering for exchanges is like near impossible. And basically Bybit, they're listing up every single like new coin. Like they're like, oh, let's do Sway. So obviously Sway's gonna get, on Bybit ASAP, right? They were the first ones to list a lot of these airdrop coins. So don't wait for when it's time. Like make these accounts now because it's like when the bull market comes, like it was like 4 weeks to register for Binance. So that at that time people were like flipping Binance accounts. I like selling them for like $1,000 each. It was insane.
So the key takeaway is to really just register.
Register right now. And you get $53. So link